to fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is The Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. This piece is from The Laura Ingram Show, Fox News, January 27, 2019. This for me is quite a long piece. I wanted to save this piece so that you could listen to it without all the noise that surrounded it at this particular time. That is January 27. That being said, it's literally only been a few days, but so much has gone on since you can't help but wonder. However, I don't think this piece should be ignored, because it goes to the heart of what the United States represents to its citizens and to the international world as a whole. Here's the piece. The links will be on my site as soon as I can. Expect to hunt for this clip yourself.
Republican or Democrat, Alan Dershowitz said it well tonight. He said any civil libertarian should be concerned by what he or she saw in that video. And if the ACLU was worth its salt, they would be upset tonight, Terry, about how that was carried out. Or John.
Well, Terry, I couldn't agree with them more. I think that it's just terrible what has happened. And I think when you couple what happened this morning with the idea that after all these 2 years, we still don't know how the Democratic Party essentially corrupted the top level of the FBI, and I am convinced that is what has happened here. We still don't know the answers of who and where and what. We know that 10 FBI officials are gone, and so that says all you need to know. We need to know that, right. And we need to know if we want to go to sleep tonight and know that our civil liberties are being protected.
Yeah, and we know that people who smash BlackBerries and use BleachBit never were raided, never were arrested, never were charged, or given some type of either explicit or implicit immunity. Unbelievable. Guys, thanks so much. And the raid this morning revealed another troubling reality. Again, as I just referenced, different outcomes for the powerful versus the powerless. Stone's charged with making false statements and obstruction, which is what Obama FBI and CIA-era leaders did on multiple occasions. So why the one-way street? Where is the prosecution in those cases? Here to tell us more, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. I know he has been chomping at the bit, focusing on this all day. Victor Davis Hanson. Victor, to see John Brennan and Clapper today out there talking about this, it's like the pot calling the kettle black, like all the old sayings came to mind. I thought about my mother because she always had the right saying. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, I think what gets everybody, I don't know Roger Stone, what he did or did not do, but whether he's a provocateur or a raconteur, it doesn't matter. The question is quality under the law. And cut to the quick, Laura, had he been James Comey and he had gone into a sworn testimony before Congress and on 245 times said he didn't know or he couldn't remember, he wouldn't have been indicted. If he had been the deputy director, Andrew McCabe, and said he was misunderstood when he lied, he wouldn't have been indicted. Had he been James Clapper and said he gave the least untruthful answers, he lied under oath to Congress, he wouldn't have been indicted. Had he been John Brennan, who's very ubiquitous today, on 2 occasions lied under oath to Congress and then said the CIA doesn't lie, he wouldn't have been indicted. So what Robert Mueller, whether he knows it or not, his legacy is now there's 2 codes of justice. There's for people who are connected, and there's people who are not connected but useful for a prosecutor's agenda. I don't think any of us want to live in an America like that. It's Orwellian, and it's third world, and it's disgusting.
Victor, when you saw the analysis on television today, which I tortured myself in watching, what do you think about the state of the news media today? Even practicing attorneys who they know better. They know that an indictment it's like a garbage pail. They throw everything into it to make it look worse. That's why it's 24 pages. This thing could have been done in 4.5 pages, even with the accusations against him. They had to pile all this verbiage in. I think it's all meant to, again, impress everybody.
You know, it's funny. The government is copying the media's Bolshevik idea that they have the person and then they have to find the crimes. So what the government is doing, Robert Mueller, he starts out with, just like the media does, that Trump is guilty, but he has to find the crime, so he goes out and leverages all these subordinates and see if any particular crime would stick to Trump. But that's not what America's about. You investigate the crime, the media investigates crime, and then they find out who did it. They don't inverse it. But we're under the whole ideology of the Bolsheviks. This is where we are now, and it's disgusting. And the media and the deep state, Mueller, CIA, they've merged. It's a fusion. It's really scary because that's the stuff of authoritarian dystopian novels, and that's where we are.
Yeah, Star Chambers. It's wild. Victor, we really appreciate you coming on with us tonight.
Let me be clear. I am not an American, and that's a whole other subject for another time. That would definitely take up more than 30 minutes. No, the point I don't think most Americans appreciate is this, and it's a simple one. Most people do not have the luxury of living in the United States and enjoy its freedoms, but they do in fact look at the US as an example of what their society could aspire to. And that's the point. But, and it's a big but, when they see the ridiculous shenanigans that one half of the political spectrum in the United States gets up to without any repercussions, whilst the other half is attacked and pilloried non-stop, it makes them question whether what they aspired to be as a nation was not what they expected at all. Liberty and justice for all, or just a select few? Doesn't sound like the America I grew up to respect and revere. And that's my comment. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab and email. You can now find us on Spotify. Just go to the podcast section and type Canadian Politics with a Twist and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio, that's EHRADIO, A Radio, and please click on the like button. And you can find all my podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com and click on the Morning Moments tab.